Amazing.
As you can see, I'm not in my
76.
normal settings,
Things are switched up.
but
And
that's cool.
things are switched up, and we're here with the
you know?
captain.
It's always nice to. Ooh, Captain NBC.
Captain
We are joined
NBC.
today by Jamie Rahn.
Jamie Young. Jamie, our first Jamie on the show. Amazing. Right. Captain NBC. Where'd you get your name, Captain NBC from? First of all, Jamie was a contestant on American Ninja Warrior. He's done a couple runs, right? 2017, 2018. What else do you run?
I started back season 2.
Season 2. Whoa.
We just filmed 12, so about 10 years.
10 years you've been on. All right, so you really are the captain.
So I've definitely seen you because, like, as I said in yesterday's episode, American Ninja Warrior was my childhood.
Yep.
So if you're saying like 10 years ago, I have definitely seen you then. Definitely. Especially on remember I used to be on NBC Action. It was the days. I'll tell you that. It was the days. So
where'd you get your name, Captain NBC?
So back in season 2, before there was a Vegas finals or anything like that, the top athletes would then go to Japan to compete in the original Ninja Warrior, the Sasuke, which I heard about. I hadn't heard about American Ninja Warrior, and so they put out a commercial looking for competitors, and they actually put one for costume competitors. And for Halloween, I love to dress up, make my own stuff. And that year, I was dressed up as Captain Planet, who's a superhero from, I think, the 90s, maybe the 80s. But basically, he was a superhero that fought pollution. And he was blue skin, green, kind of flat top mullet, red kind of bathing suit underwear, and then like a globe on his chest. And I was like, oh, I did this. I could do this for the show if you give me the opportunity to compete. And I love it, but we can't use that logo. That's copywritten. They own that. I was like, well, what about your logo? You own it. And so I was like, yeah, let's do that. Yep, there he is. There's our Captain Planet.
That's Captain Planet. Mm-hmm.
I basically was dressed up as a Captain Planet, but I changed the logo to the TV station that I was airing on at that time.
NBC. Oh, okay.
Later became NBC, I think, about 3 or 4 years later. And so I was Captain G4 for a couple of years, and then I became Captain NBC when NBC took it over. Originally, I was just body paint, so it didn't matter. I could just paint it over. And then eventually I ended up getting my own costume made and then started making my own stuff, and stuck ever since.
Interesting. And so you're a veteran of the show, basically. I guess we can call you that. Like you've been with the show as it changed throughout the year. So let's go back to like 10 years ago to today. How has the show changed?
Well, the first season, I didn't get to compete in the first one, but they filmed in a parking lot. The second season and the next several were all filmed in Venice Beach. It was outside. It was during the day. It was hot. You stand around most of the time waiting to go, and you had to fly out there. Ninja wouldn't pay your expenses. They would only pay your expenses to go to the finals. So at that point, that was to Japan. So they would pay for that trip to Japan. But for us, we would have to fly out to Venice, find a place to stay, find air travel, and compete if they made it well enough, or come on back home. And then they started doing regions once they made a Vegas instead of a Japan. And so there were several regions around the country where you could compete, so everyone didn't have to go to California, which is great because I lived on the East Coast, not the West Coast, so it was a long trip. So each year they started picking different cities and try and mix it up, and compete in a bunch of different places. Went to visit other people competing because as it got bigger, we couldn't do one central location. There was more than 150 people competing. We ended up having close to 600 per season.
Wow.
And it grows more and more. I think they had 70,000 people submit videos last season, if I'm not mistaken, to want to be on the show, and they pick about 600 to do it. So it's got more popular, and people actually know it. Where back then we would just go to a playground. There were no gyms. You would, build stuff in your backyard or find people on forums, or there'd be like one or two gyms. I was lucky enough to be in New Jersey, which was right where Chris Wilczewski and the Movement Lab were. Chris and Brian were big competitors back then, and we started building this community where we had all the ninjas kind of come in and teach us, and then we had a big competition at the end, which is kind of the start of building this kind of cross-country community of ninjas. And as that started, the training got better and the skills got better, so the obstacles had to get harder. So I think season 2, the first year I competed, one of the big obstacles was a rope swing, just one rope and it swung. And then the last one before the warp ball was, I think, 4 laches. I think they were like 6 or 8 feet apart, which to think of now would be, absurd to have in a course. That would be like a speed course or
what do you mean? It's too easy? Like, it's like, It used to be easy, so it's gotten harder.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, the 12-year-olds, the 13-year-olds, the 16-year-olds, they're able to compete at the same level that we are now.
Wow.
And
because they've been training. Yeah.
I mean,
and it's new for you when you first started out, right? But now there are like hundreds and thousands of ninjas around the country. Wow.
I've gotten good over a decade. Imagine how good I would be if I was still made of rubber when I started, and figure this little 8-year-old, and then just being able to learn all these skills and techniques and all this strength. It's crazy to see where it's gotten, and it's going to be insane to see where it goes. Japan's gotten they're debatably harder than we are still. They have 37 competitions. They're going to be filming their 38th, it seems. So it's interesting to see all the new stuff that they do, because they were the leaders in the very
Amazing. So that was the show's change, but I think what we really want to know is like the more like technical behind the scenes kind of thing. How much did that change? Like, was the contract ish still the same?
I never paid much attention to the contract in the very beginning. But essentially the main points of the contract that seems consistent throughout the years is everything is, by producer discretion. So, if there's an issue or, an obstacle breaks or something like that, it gives the executive production team full authority to kind of adapt it however they need. And then they also, they own your likeness for at least, I don't know for how long, but I know you can't compete or be a part of any other TV or reality show competition for another 1.5 years after the last air date of.
So you can do the voice at all.
Yeah. No. You could argue it a bit, but in the beginning, it really didn't matter. It was, I have this opportunity to be a part of something and try something that, I've only dreamed about. Like, sure, I don't have plans to, go on Survivor and do like a whole team thing. It's just like, I love this obstacle course. This is, something I trained for. I want to challenge myself. And then, as it got more and more popular, they were able to put more money into it. We started getting a stipend when we would make it to the finals, and giving us prizes for getting first, second, third, and kind of guaranteeing that in the contract, where before everything was just kind of on your dollar, and you would get a chance to, go to Japan, and they would pay for Japan. And that was kind of.
So that's the reason you did it when you first started, like season 2, 10 years ago, young Jamie. Yeah. Why do you sign up for American Ninja Warrior and all the way in California? How did you find out about it? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I used to watch, I still do. I watch Jackie Chan, and I was always so impressed growing up, like his ability to move through space and understanding in his environment, that I saw Ninja Warrior as like the ultimate test of that. Like, is your body capable of doing this? Can you read the environment at first try and be successful at it? And I started watching, I don't know if you're familiar with MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
I am. Yes, it's the Chinese one, right?
No, it's also Japanese. It's
yeah, it was.
The name of the show.
Did you? and it was like Guy Lee. I remember something like
Yeah,
that. It was so funny, man. I remember watching it.
that
They
was
had the conservatives versus the liberals. They had the blue collars. Oh man, that's
yeah,
amazing.
it was a blast. And so I saw that first. And then my dad showed me Sasuke. It's like, you know what show we like? This is the same thing, but with like real athletes. And I was like blown away when I first saw Ninja Warrior. I saw the cliffhanger for the first time, and it was just one straight ledge, a gap, and an angle ledge. I was like, whoa, they got to go across this ledge, and then they had to do a gap. There's no way anyone's making it past that. And like now that's like a gimme. And so like I was just so like amazed at this thing that existed and people were able to do. And then once I saw that commercial, that was the first time I knew it was coming to the States. And I was just like, well, you know, I'm going to make it happen. I got to find a way to, you know, be a part of this. Is an opportunity. I sent out, like a bottle in the ocean, like, hey, I'll send out a message, see if they like it, and might as well give it a try. And then they actually responded. I was like, whoa,
That's how it happens. It's fate.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow.
So you did the second season, right?
Correct.
Do you know which episode? Of course you do. Which episode was it?
I don't know. I didn't make it past the first obstacle, and I think I was just in the previews of them. I am the thumbnail of like the old G4 YouTube of it.
But you're
in my
because what I wanted to do was
should we break down one of his
one of your runs, and we want to know like what were you thinking and what was going through your mind as you were doing it. So
sure, I have a bunch of them up. Which one do you recommend we like if we want to break down one of them? Which one?
There's the one where I lost my shoe, but then there's also
barefoot.
Let's do that one. Let's do barefoot one.
Let's go for this one then.
Yeah.
All right. So describe to us what was like. Okay, so here you are.
Here you are.
The course, and you go off. So what was going through your mind?
So at the start, it's always super nerve-wracking. You're there all day, and they switched it over to night shoots halfway through the season because everything looks better. But just there all day, and you're just exhausted. And so when I'm on set, I can't help but get really excited and cheer for everyone else and get really hyped up about it. So I always have to try and calm myself down before I go, and then calm the nerves of screwing up and replace it with excitement for being able to participate in this. Here, I was super sick, and it was right before finals. I didn't feel like, doing anything. And my now best buddy, Sean Darling Hammond, came up to me and he's like, man, this is awesome. We get to be a part of something that like really no one really else gets to. And, they basically spent millions of dollars to build an obstacle course for us to play on. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to be excited about it. I'm not going to worry about, if I fall or, anything like that. I'm going to be excited about this opportunity. And so every time I get on that platform, I really refocus that excitement and address the crowd. And then I just try and focus on what's right in front of me, that very first obstacle and that very first movement. On this one, it's the triangle steps. We call them Dorito Dash. I'm not sure the exact name. I've kind of given up on all the ninja names at this point.
I mean, we get the clue. Yeah. It's the one where you have to like jump from one to the other.
Yeah. And now, like but they rotate fully and they are offset. So I can't just run in a straight line. I have to do some sort of side to side. And I don't think my stride's long enough, so I have to two-step it. But putting a step closer to the edge is further from that pivot point. And so now there's a bigger chance of it rotating on you. So I just, on an obstacle like this, like an agility, I set my mind ahead of it, like this is my placement, and then just full commit all the way through as much as I can.
And you committed.
All right.
Oh, wow.
And there we go.
There you go. It happens in a second. Really? That was like not even like 1-2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you got to regain ballast. All right.
Yep. Now we go trampoline to a big airplane propeller. And the propeller is not like grabbing a bar, right? It's this big, flat, slanted surface. So it's not the greatest to hold on to. And I'm not the best with trampolines. So my main focus is hit the trampoline as hard as I can to just get a good grab on it. And I've been thinking about it for a while. You'll see my shoe pop off, and I think I didn't retie it when I got up there because production hates when all of us ninjas want to retie our shoe and put on our shoes at the starting line. You know, they got to get things going. So I just slip them on. I'm like, all right, we're good. And I think in my shoe, my foot slid forward when I hit the trampoline. And then as I came off the trampoline, there's nothing holding onto my heel, and it popped out.
But this is before you knew that was going to happen. This was like right here. You were confident?
Yeah, like, all right.
How do you feel right here?
Smooth.
I can hit that trampoline as hard as I can.
All right, let's see it.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right.
Let's go.
Boom. Look it.
Point. Yeah.
Oh. Oh no, go for that extra spin.
Yeah.
Your shoe's gone. Uh-huh. Okay, so this
like,
one. Uh-huh.
So
your shoe's gone.
I'm like, all right, I'm wasting time, but I didn't fall. And so my three main things on obstacles: number one, get on the obstacle. Then I worry about getting through the obstacle, and then I worry about dismounting the obstacle. And so I almost missed that grab, so I was just happy I didn't fall. And then I was just trying to stay calm, keep that adrenaline down to get it. And then once I would get it, I would dismount and not try and rush it and try and pick up time on the second obstacle, because then I would always feel like mentally it'd be harder to handle rushing and falling early than trying to just be consistent at the entire course. So I knew the shoe was gone, and I was like, well, let's just, focus on this obstacle and then deal with it when we get there.
Why? You didn't think of taking off the other shoe?
You'll
balance yourself out.
Yeah, I was still hanging from a propeller at that point.
Whoa. Oh, yeah, they circled it
right
for
there.
us. Yeah, right there.
And I didn't get quite enough jump.
Oh, you did take it off. Yeah.
Took off the sock because I didn't want to be... And I knew I didn't have a lot of time. So I was like, let's just keep it going. The spider wall, I'm probably going to fall, but at least this was all upper body.
It's true.
The double dipper, very intimidating. You're super high up.
Oh.
Someone who likes heights, but I know it's just one simple release move, and then you're through. So just trying to stay calm and
there you go.
Yeah. And
this is your family?
No, those were all my ninja friends. You'll see my family in a moment. So they live via wet and dry towel. So I just tried to my foot. And at this point, I was so just kind of relaxed because I figure either I'm going to make it and it's going to be awesome, or I'm going to fail and people are going to expect that I were to fall with one shoe. But I figure leave at least one shoe on for some grip. And I was able to stick it just enough to make it through. But at that point, I went from, oh man, my season's over, to, well, this could be a fun challenge and give it a try.
So the shoes you wear, are they like specific for like a course you do? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
There are two main types of shoes that ninjas seem to go towards. There's the New Balance, the Zantes, which is a nice grippy shoe. It's a thick sole, kind of like a basketball shoe or a running shoe. And then stuff I prefer, like Merrell's, the Merrell Vapors, is much more of a barefoot shoe. This one is a little bit thicker. It's an older Merrell. And what I liked about that is for something like stage one, where you can have a lot of impact, and especially on stage two, I'll wear those shoes a lot. That has a little bit of padding, maybe about, a quarter inch or so, but really minimal. And I really like to be able to feel things. But a lot of ninjas prefer just that thicker padding, but I can't. I need a thinner shoe. So it's almost like I practice barefoot anyway.
Anyway, cool. All right. Let's see. And you make it.
Yeah.
There we go.
And now I'm just
and you're going.
Mistakes. The hard part's getting in, and you're in the desert, so there's dust on it, and you don't want to slip.
Wow. Oh man. Well, yeah. The least they can do is just like de-dust it or something.
I mean, they try with a broom, but it's really hard. Wind just blows. So that's my family behind me.
Shout out to the fam.
They just see me taking off my other shoe here,
Mhm.
when I realized that I'm walking uneven and this is an agility obstacle. So I figure, just abandon all the shoes and go for nice and even footwork.
Yep. I mean, there's no better grip than the grip of the soles of your feet, I guess. Or I don't know.
Unless they're sweating. Mhm.
Oh, unless they're sweating, then yeah, that's a different talk.
Were you sweating? Do you sweat like when you're running the course? Mhm.
Qualifiers are normally outside at night, and it's 30 degrees or so. There's frost on the course a lot of the time.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Finally, this is in Vegas, so there's nights where it stays above 100 degrees the whole time.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm usually pretty sweaty by the time I finish this course.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you about. So I see your family's wearing the hair. Was that your choice, like doing the hair and the tattoos? Did you come like that before, or were like the producers kind of part of it?
So I had my tattoos, and then the green hair was part of the costume, that kind of initial thing, and that's the only thing that's really unchanged is the green hair. Green's one of my favorite colors, and it stands out so much it makes me easily recognizable. And so I kept that instead of the blue colored skin. I then kind of made this blue outfit with some lightning bolts and stuff like that to kind of create this, Captain NBC persona separate from the Captain Planet. And then, when it's too hot, like out in Vegas, I'll go without the shirt, or if it's, getting throughout a course and I'm starting to get overheated or a little sweaty, I'll take off the shirt to make sure my hands don't get sweaty, because you're not allowed to talk or anything.
Wow. That's
interesting.
dope.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Let's keep rolling. Let's see how this ends.
You take it off.
And there we go. Revelation of the left foot. Then you have the white host and the one with the really long name.
And swings.
So this is simple, but if you see how wiggly the thing I'm hanging on is, makes it very awkward. And the rotation through, it really doesn't help you get in a straight line. Now at this point, when I reach this part of the warp wall, there's a clock to the left of the wall, and that's the first time you can see how much time you have left. And a lot of the time, a lot of that year, people were running out of time. And so production said you should have at least 60 seconds at that point to, make it through. And I saw my 40 seconds. I was like, well, we just have to kind of go for it. There's no time for a rest, no time to think about it. It's just set yourself up in front of the obstacle, take a breath, and go. And so I've done the warp wall barefoot. I've done it in socks. I've done it in a weight vest. I've done it with my eyes closed. I've done the warp wall a lot. So doing it barefoot wasn't really in my head. It was just get through the next 3 obstacles as quickly as possible. And, you're going to either make it and you'll get it in time, or you're going to fall. But if you wait, you're not going to have any time and you're going to run out of time. So it was just kind of, full commit and trust.
And you do it. And no hesitation. Yeah. No hesitation.
No hesitation.
Wow.
Yeah, man, that's amazing.
That's That's a ninja.
Yeah. And now these do a full rotation on it, so there's no set.
19 seconds. Wow.
And it would be faster for me to get to the cargo and climb than I thought it would be to build a swing. And I figure, no time to take a second thought, just go for it. And then I was just so surprised that I made it without a because when it happened, I was like, okay, my season's over. This sucks. I might as well, get through what I can get through. And then once I hit that spider wall, all the nerves and the pressure went away. And I was like, awesome. Let's just go for it. And, there wasn't any pressure of, oh, if you fall. I already felt like I had beaten the odds at that point. Just kind of like, yeah, let's go for it.
You feel more confident, maybe? You think it helped? Yeah, your energy?
Yeah, I don't know if it was more confident, but it was definitely less nervous.
I see. Yeah. Well, you won like a champ. Congrats. Amazing. All right.
7 seconds to spare too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yes. And then after that, do the reporters come up to you? They start asking you questions and stuff directly, or do you like have time to cool down?
So you're up there and there's the one camera guy, and you're catching your breath. You walk down that platform, and they'll take you to an interview, and you'll go do your post-run interview, and then you'll go back to set to cheer everyone else on. But in qualifiers and the higher stages like Vegas, if you fall, for instance, they usually have a sideline reporter there. But if you make it all the way through, you go down and do a separate interview, or you do a sideline interview at the end. So what happened that day is I made it through. I came on down. I went over to the sideline reporter to do my post-run interview. And that's where I get to, greet my family after the run and all that. And we do that interview right after. And then, you're kind of just on set until the rest of the night's finished.
Amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's a thrill for you, but it's a thrill for us too. I feel like watching that right now was so like exciting. I mean, like I grew up watching the show in Lebanon, and Ali was in Kuwait. Like we're all over the world. We're just watching the show. Sure. Why do you think it's so like thrilling? Why do you think everyone around the world loves like the Ninja Warriors?
I think it's great because people are kind of either able to get it just kind of right at that cusp of their ability, or they're pushing as hard as they can and failing. It feels like everyone in production does a great job of, weeding through the 70,000 people for, 600 people that, are really going to kind of put a good run, but also, a good person to watch. So you're not going to want to watch someone run, land, and then just get pissed and start splashing water. We want to see the people that
showmanship,
heartfelt and generally invested in what they're doing and trying their hardest. And I think that really just kind of communicates all across the world. I would much rather see someone barely make an obstacle than someone make it look easy. I remember Jeff Britton and Isaac Caldera on stage 3 when they both completed it. Isaac Caldera went through and made it super easy. He's a super strong rock climber, which was awesome to see. But then watching Jeff go through and on like the last one, see his fingers open up and him having to struggle to just make that dismount. I much more get like excited and get like bumps seeing someone just barely able to make it through and do something they didn't think they'd be able to do, or overcome that fear of being up really high or doing this obstacle or, something out of their comfort zone. And I think that's what makes Ninja Warriors so popular.
You think so? It's more like overcoming fear. Is it like more of a mental game at that point? Because you've like run the courses, you've done all the trainings, right?
I would say Ninja at least 50-50.
Wow.
Veterans, if you're first coming into it and you have ninja training, there is at this point, because the skill level is so high, a large bump to get into the sport, at least at a competition level. But once you're kind of in it, the obstacles aren't super difficult. What's most difficult is being able to do it and figure it out first try. You don't know how something's going to move. So a lot of time we over grip or we tighten up or we freak out. And so controlling that mental aspect really helps, and realizing you only get one shot. And if you miss it, maybe you get to try it again next year. Maybe that was your shot. And trying to stay focused and calm and in the moment is really hard. You get up on the stage and a lot of first people, they black out and they wake up in the water or at the end of the run and, they don't realize what happened because there's so much adrenaline. I don't remember my first run. I remember starting. I remember my plan. And then I remember hitting the landing platform in the water and be like, well, that was it. And so, it's a lot of mental, but I would say at least 50-50. So much of it. I mean, I've got to fear heights. I don't like it. But, you put it in front of me and I know it's kind of my one shot anyway to make it through. If I fall, I'm going to drop. But also knowing if I fall, it's the end of the season, are equally important to me.
Question. How cold's the water?
Depends where you're at. In Vegas, it's kind of nice. In Baltimore by the harbor, it's freezing cold. So qualifiers, it's terrible, but finals, it's nice.
And you've been to Japan?
Yeah.
Have you? They flown you out there? What's that
Japan
like?
last year to compete in Sasuke 37.
Wow, how's that? What was that like?
It was amazing. It's finally got to go out there, and it was interesting because it was like one of the high points and low points of my career at the same time. Is I finally made it out to Japan and to compete and be a part of that community, and then I failed on the dismount of the second part of the first obstacle, and so it's the same thing that happened to me my first year in America. Is I failed. I touched the landing platform and then failed into the water. And it was so disheartening to, be seen as worthy to now compete in Japan and, to have that honor to go out there and be invited, only to, not perform. And I think that was the first time in a long time in Ninja Warrior that I felt that pressure and that nervousness that I couldn't get rid of, because even though I was in, a wonderful community and around all these ninjas, it was, I'm the new guy coming into this whole new course, this whole new environment, and brand new obstacles. A lot of their obstacles we don't have in the States. We kind of pick and choose and make our own. So it was super nerve-wracking, but I loved every moment of it. I got to meet so many of my ninja idols. I got to train with them. I got to cheer for them. And hopefully I get to go back and get redemption. Sasuke 38 is filming this year, but with the pandemic, we're not allowed to travel to Japan, I believe. So I don't think they're going to have any international competitors. Just like America, we didn't have any international competition this year when we filmed. We didn't have friends, family, or anyone allowed except for the athletes. So I'm glad they're able to do it. And hopefully I get to come back for, 39 and so on, and be able to continue to eat in that community and abroad. I've got to do Vietnam, Germany, Japan, and America. I'd love to, hit up Israel, Australia, UK, and, just be as much of this worldwide community as I can.
All right. Well, good luck to you. Unfortunately, we reached our
time. I just want to ask one more question. I'm just curious. Are you training every day for that Japan run? Come on, Captain. Yeah. You gotta.
Training as much as I can every day. I don't know if you were aware, I cut off part of my thumb a couple months ago on a table saw accident. So I had to do recovery for the past 2-3 months. I'm able to start training ninja again. So I would say yes, I'm always training, but never actually for one specific thing. Okay. Always just do techniques and stronger. Prepare for anything, who knows what they're going to put up there.
This is true.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, thank you for coming on today's podcast episode. Thank you for those who are watching us. If you made it this far into the video, please subscribe. Captain NBC, do you have anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to let the world know?
I would just like to say that being a part of Ninja Warrior has changed my life, and it's such a positive experience for me. And I hope, you guys get a positive experience and inspired like I was by those before me, for you guys to do whatever you want in your life to overcome those fears and those obstacles.
Love it. Amazing.
Nice. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know if you've watched any of our old episodes, but this is generally how we sign out. It's salute to cover the cam and peace.